Welcome back, guys. As the title of this video states, this is digging into why one of our cheap Chinese cordless polishers had failed. This is called the Popoman. It's later called the TECCPO and now the ALEAPOW polisher. It's all the same. At the time I bought it about 2 years ago, it was around $120, but now it's somewhere between $125 and $160 on Amazon, depending on if it's on sale or not. Right now it shows it like $140. It comes with one battery and a charger. It runs for about 20 minutes, but takes 3 hours to charge, so you better get an extra battery or two. So this specific polisher has a few hundred hours on it at a minimum, and I use this quite a bit in our shop over the last 2 years. So we're gonna find out why it failed. It stopped running on me about a month or so ago, and I just now had a little time to dive into it. So let's see what's going on here. As you can hear, there's a lot of slop in the gears, a lot of noise. We will take it apart and see what has failed here. Very simple to take apart using an Allen wrench and a Phillips screwdriver. Didn't take long at all. Looking closely at the electric motor, it's a brushless motor. I don't see anything burnt. I don't see any heavy wear on anything inside it. Switch functions as it should. The lock works. Everything looks pretty healthy inside. The gear assembly, a lot of play. Holding one part and just rotating the other, so there's a lot of play in the gears. The bearings have quite a bit of play, all of them. So we will dig a little further. So taking the gear assembly apart, there's our cheap Chinese grease. I've never changed the grease in this. It's barely getting to any of the gears. A lot of bearing play in both assemblies. The main motor shaft, whatever you want to call it there, the bearing that leads into the gear case, that is most likely our cause of failure. The amount of play there. You can see that there's a little C-clip, which I'll show here in a little bit, that's going to come into play. But the beveling on the gears, I don't see any excessive wear. So the grease, albeit not quite doing its job very well, it is working, or it did work at one time. But yeah, you see that C-clip there on the end of that gear. See how it's kind of sticking out? I think it's a combination of the bearing being so worn, letting that shaft move a little bit, and I think the C-clip was getting caught on the gear. I think that's what on the big gear. Lots of play. So I think that's our cause of failure, is just bearing wear, and it's on the motor side, not on the gear side. So we'll tear it apart a little bit more, get the grease out of there, take another look at it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. A lot of bearing wear there. And that clip on the end, I will take that off and we'll look at it, but it appears that it's just a combination of the bearing being worn, the clip getting into the gear, most likely. The other end has a little bit of wear, but again, not something where it would be catastrophic. The machine didn't have a lot of bearing noise or anything like that, like a lot of these low-end polishers generally do. And you also have to remember, this has a lot of use on it. You know, it's not like this just happened right out of the box or after the first time you used it. But that, I think, is our failure. So I'll put it back together, see if I can get it to run. Cliff notes, or foreshadowing. I put it back together. It still didn't work. So it may have been something internal as well with the electronics. Not 100% sure, but she's failed. Have a battery and a charger left over that you've heard me say in previous video. I'm probably going to replace this with the ALEAPOW, the replacement of it, so I can continue to use it. So there you go, guys. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.